Good afternoon and good morning to those on the West Coast. Thank you for joining us today to hear about some millennial marketing all-star brands and how what they do can be put into action to increase acquisition and retention of millennials at your credit union. I'm Glenn Van Duzen, founder, president, and lead strategist at Van Duzen and Levitt Associates, a brand strategy and design firm that works with credit unions and financial institutions across the U.S. During this 15-minute webinar, we'll review why millennials are so important, how top performing brands successfully engage millennials, and what can be learned from them, how millennials feel about financial institutions, and how your credit union can attract more millennials to become members. For years, we've all heard that reaching and engaging millennials is really challenging. Various reports have described them as this mysterious group that's difficult to understand and hard to define the way they think, live, shop, and feel. Yet they're a very large demographic group and deserve significant attention. Millennials now make up a quarter of the US population and range in age from 21 to 35. While some are still in college, most have finished school and are breaking out of the stereotypes that have stayed with them for so long. You've heard the lines before. They're selfish, they can't find a job, they're living with and mooching off their parents. Well, in reality, millennials today have jobs. They are self-sufficient. They are entrepreneurs. They care deeply about world issues. They earn a decent income and are able to take care of their own debt. By 2020, millennials are estimated to make up 40% of the US workforce. They already represent 28% of all credit union account holders. It's also a fact that millennials don't follow the traditional success sequence of prior generations. Graduate, get married, buy a home, start a family. In fact, more than half of all millennials now have children of their own, and over half of them had their first child before getting married. As consumers, millennials in the US make up 21% of all discretionary purchases. They prefer to shop online. 40% said they'd buy everything online if they could. They're proactive in learning about new products and are quick to share their opinions on products and services. And they're 50% more likely to support brands with a purpose. They also gravitate towards brands that connect with them on an emotional level. Brands like Amazon, Target, YouTube, and Apple. In addition, millennials will receive a significant amount of assets from their baby boomer parents. In fact, millennials are expected to receive the greatest transfer of wealth from one generation to the next, an estimated $30 trillion, making millennials a very valuable potential member base. While some credit unions and banks have made good strides in attracting and retaining millennial members, as an industry, the connection with millennials isn't a very pretty picture. In a recent poll of 10,000 millennials, financial institutions were rated as 4 of their top 10 least loved brands. The study also reported that 71% of millennials would rather go to the dentist than listen to what their bank has to say about financial planning. So clearly, in looking for our top millennial marketing all-stars, our search also went outside the financial services industry to find best practices. Looking only within your own industry for breakout thinking and approaches, especially with survey results like these, just makes no sense at all. Whether it's finding better ways to engage millennials or any other aspect of your marketing and branding, we are firm believers that you should always look both within and outside your own industry for insights, inspiration, and best practices. In fact, the Millennial Marketing All-Star tips I'm about to share are all from outside the financial services industry. For today's webinar, We'll look at a few tips from 4 best-in-class millennial marketing all-stars, the ones we mentioned earlier: Amazon, Target, YouTube, and Apple. Let's start with Amazon. This online shopping powerhouse is well known for outstanding customer service. That includes 24/7 access, an incredible online and digital user experience, and extensive reviews and opinions that are valued by their customers. Millennials grew up conducting business online with one-click ordering, and then very quickly seeing that recognizable smile face box on their doorsteps in a fraction of the time that catalog shopping used to take. We know many credit unions consider their member service to be one of their greatest benefits, and versus the big banks, this is generally a very accurate assessment. The problem is, comparing yourselves to banks can provide a false and misleading sense of security and satisfaction. So here's tip number 1. Benchmark your member service not against banks, but against companies like Amazon, because that's the benchmark millennials are using. If they aren't comparing the service they receive at your credit union to other credit unions or banks, why should you? As Jeffrey Kendall, Senior Vice President and GM of Coney, said, credit unions aren't being judged relative to other credit unions and banks. They're being judged relative to every other customer service touch point in their life. He went on to say that you should look for providers and vendors who have experience outside in other industries, who are willing to help you sort of push that limit and that edge. I think that's key to survival in this marketplace. Well, we completely agree. Now let's look at our next millennial marketing all-star, Target stores. Target really connected with millennials by providing price-sensitive offerings that were also chic, stylish, and often backed by famous designers. This was quite an innovative approach for a brand in their industry. They continued to innovate and stay on top of the needs of millennials by offering their own branded private label products too. Again, an innovative idea for a discount department store. Next, Target expanded into grocery products, but again with an innovative approach that emphasized organic, gluten-free, and natural products. They knew these more holistic products were what millennials really wanted. They also redesigned their stores with an innovative look and feel that was more like small, local marketplaces, similar to Whole Foods, that resonate with millennials. This again was an innovative approach within the mass merchandiser class of trade. Target continually innovates to stay in step with what's important to millennials and offers unique products and services to meet their needs. So tip number 2, do your research and truly understand fact-based insights about your members. This will allow you to continually innovate with products and services that are meaningful to millennials and address their specific needs and desires as they move through life. Our third millennial marketing all-star is YouTube. YouTube understands how much millennials are content creators. Millennials are constantly connected to their phones. They grew up with Facebook and they want to be entertained by their brands. YouTube is the go-to place that delivers entertainment not only with uploaded content, but also with YouTube TV. YouTube provides an ongoing connection with millennials without needing face-to-face interaction or brick-and-mortar locations. Digital banking is a must-have way to attract millennials, but that's only the first step, and it can't end there. As YouTube demonstrates, make sure you know how to keep millennials engaged beyond the time that they become members, and continually communicate with them digitally, because it'll be rare when you see them in a branch. When it comes to mobile banking in particular, things we all know are important to millennials like transaction verification, alerts, and budget tools have to be considered. They may not be coming into a branch, but they are reviewing and conducting transactions with their financial institutions almost constantly, often many times a day. Keeping them connected with your credit union and engaged with your brand on a regular basis is essential to maintain high millennial satisfaction. So tip number 3 is to create ongoing connections with millennials so they rely on you as a constant resource and feel they're making progress towards their financial goals. Our next millennial marketing all-star is Apple. Apple clearly knows that millennials are very connected to and value brands that enhance their lives. Apple has one of the strongest emotional connections with their customers and has created a global following of people who are avid loyalists. For them, technology must not only be simple and cool, but also serve a purpose for the user. From the very start, Apple has demonstrated a true omnichannel experience across all devices and touch points. From iPhones to iPads, Apple Watch to Apple TV, the brand continues to develop products that serve a purpose and deliver a simple, integrated brand and user experience across all products. So how integrated is your member experience? Have you been able to achieve a true omnichannel experience for your members? If not, you risk losing the millennial members you've gained to other more digitally savvy financial institutions. So tip number 4 is to create a simple, consistent experience across all channels and touch points to emotionally engage millennials and build loyalty. What also stands out about all these amazing all-star brands is that they deliver on the rational needs millennials expect, but also, and more importantly, connect with their customers on an emotional level. So looking beyond our millennial marketing all-stars, what's the situation today within financial services? The importance of connecting with customers and members on both a rational and an emotional level is something generally lacking in financial services when compared to brands that are highly successful with millennials. According to Gallup, financial institutions have the lowest levels of engagement with millennials. Only 30% are fully engaged with their primary bank. Only 24% of millennials strongly agree that their financial institution can help them reach their financial goals. And millennials are 2.5 times more likely to switch their primary financial institution than any other generation. So why are millennials not more strongly engaged with their financial institution? Well, one of the biggest reasons is because the communication to them is generally about all the rational things like rates, fees, ATM locations, and so on, that do nothing to build brand distinctiveness or emotional attraction. As much as any other audience, millennials need rational and emotional reasons to make you their brand of choice. We believe every credit union has an emotional brand advantage. Have you found yours? Do you know what makes you truly unique? The key is to find, quantify, and leverage the brand equities you already possess that are believable, credible, and motivating to your employees, millennials, and all members. So tip number 5 is to find, quantify, and leverage your emotional brand advantage. Those things that define who you are, what makes you special, why people should consider you above all other options available to them. So, to recap today's top 5 tips for acquiring and retaining millennials. Number 1, benchmark yourself against brands that millennials consider to be best in class, regardless of category. 2, continuously innovate with products and services relevant to millennials. 3, create ongoing connections with millennials to be their go-to resource. 4, provide a true omnichannel experience that's simple and consistent. And 5, find, quantify, and leverage your emotional brand advantage. Finally, if your goal is to acquire more millennial members or pursue a new branding initiative for your credit union and want the benefit of broad industry experience and a fact-based process, we hope you'll give us a call. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found the information in this brief webinar valuable. If you have any questions or would like to discuss how we might help you, please contact me directly. Thank you very much. Have a good day.